So, to be really honest with you and tell you what happened, I recorded this entire video all about manifestation, all the juicy tidbits. I even recorded another YouTube episode for this channel, and I recorded 3 other videos for an online course I'm creating. I did this all last Thursday. I went to go download them so that I could edit them, and to my lovely surprise, there was 0 sound on any of them. All the videos I spent, 2 hours creating had absolutely 0 audio. So here I am again, recording this for the second time. Apparently, I must have missed some sort of magic that was supposed to come through in this video because I wasn't supposed to record the other one. I was supposed to record this one. So here we go. For round 2 for me, round 1 for you. I am so super excited to talk about the M in the Freedoms Framework, which stands for manifestation. We're nearing the end of the Freedoms Framework. If you don't know what that is, I'm not going to spend time explaining it in this video. Go to the first video on my channel, tell you exactly what the Freedoms Framework is, how you can use it to create the life that you desire, the love you desire, the money you desire, the connection you desire. It is a roadmap for you. So go back, watch that first one. You'll totally understand what the Freedoms Framework is. We are nearing the end. We only have 2 pillars left. Today, manifestation. Next week, discernment. And I think manifestation is one of my most favorite pillars to talk about. I get so freaking excited to talk about manifestation. I made the other video 40 minutes long, so I'm going to try to not go that long and keep it succinct and to the point. The reason I get so excited about it is because I love being able to tap into my own innate creator. But more than that, I absolutely freaking love helping other people tap into their own innate creator, because after all, that's who we really are. Like, that's actually, we're not like who we think we are, the identity and the ego and who we show to the world. We're not that. It's fun to play with. That's what gets to experience what we create for sure. But who we really are is a magician, is a creator. And this process that I created for you, that I do myself, that I've used to manifest so much of my life, I am sharing that with you today. I am going to give you the exact step-by-step recipe to become a master manifester in your life and tap into the creator that you are, because you are a creator. You are the artist of your painting and you're the painting. You are the director and the actor of your play. You are putting this all on for you to experience. So what this process does is help you tap into the part of you that is creating this experience so that you can manifest all sorts of things. That's what I believe we're here for. Why we're having the human experience is that so we can create. And that's exactly what this framework gives you. And I call it the 333 method. I developed this as sort of, think of it as like ingredients to a cake. So the 333 are all ingredients. They're all absolutely necessary to baking this really beautiful cake, whatever manifestation that you want to create. However, just like baking a cake, if you miss one of the ingredients, it's not going to quite be the same. So I created the 333 because, like I said, this is the exact process I've used in my life to create anything from scrolls to $2 bills to peacock feathers to trips overseas to moving to Florida to my soulmate to cars to houses. I've created so much with this process. And like I said, it's actually very practical. I'm a very woo-woo person and a very practical person. And so I like to take abstract ideas like law of attraction and manifestation and give you a really tangible process to use. And that is what the 3-3 method is. It's a very tangible process so you can become the master manifester. So in this video, I'm going to dive through what each 3 stands for. And then I'm going to go dive in a little bit deeper into each of the 3s. So starting with, what is the 333 method? Okay, so the first 3 stands for the 3 things that you have to have in order to create coherence. You have to create coherence, which leads into the second 3. So the first 3 is the 3 aspects to create a state of coherence, which leads to the second 3, which is the 3-step formula in the actual meditation, visualization, manifestation process. There's 3 steps in that process. The first step is coherence. So that's why the first 3, what are the 3 things you need to create coherence? Then that moves us to the second 3, the 3-step process. That 3-step process is coherence, visualization, and focus. And then it moves us into the third 3, which are the 3 things that you can do to let go of attachment, to surrender the outcome, which is absolutely freaking necessary when you're talking about consciously manifesting. Now, I want to say, when I talk about manifesting and creating, I'm talking about doing it consciously. Like, we're always manifesting, creating all the time unconsciously. But what I'm talking about and what I've done in my life and what I teach others to do is consciously creating something, like very clearly having an intention in mind, going through this process that I walk you through, letting go of the outcome, and then having that thing show up in your experience, in your life. And that's why the third 3 is so important, because if you can't let go of attachment, if you can't surrender the outcome, the thing will never show up. So again, another reminder, all 3 of these things are ingredients that are absolutely necessary to the cake of manifestation. Okay, so first 3 is the 3 things you need for coherence. The second 3 is the 3-step process in the actual manifestation. And the third 3 is the 3 things you can do to let go of attachment. That's the 3-3-3 method. Super simple, right? Now I'm going to dive into each of those steps more deeper so you can actually see what the process looks like and you can start applying this in your own life. Okay, the first 3. The 3 things that you have to have in order to create a state of coherence. When you are creating, when you are manifesting, you are entering into the quantum field. The quantum field, which is the thing that's beyond our 5 senses or 6 senses, it is the actual real reality beyond this illusion of the video game that we're in. It's not woo-woo, it's scientific. You can study quantum physics. And so when you want to manifest, you must enter into the quantum field. If that sounds too technical for you, you can think of it as imagination. So remember when you were a kid and you had a wild imagination, and when you were using your imagination, you were literally like, those things were real for you until somebody told you that they weren't. But you would get so involved in that imagination, you would lose track of time, you'd lose track of where you were just completely enmeshed in your imagination in the moment. You are entering a different brainwave state. And when you enter a different brainwave state, that literally is a portal into the quantum field. And the quantum field is where you are going to create from, where you are going to manifest from. Now, you cannot enter that quantum field and create in that quantum field. It's sort of like this, since we're talking recipes and cooking. If you go into a restaurant and you give your waiter the order, the waiter takes it, it goes to the kitchen, it brings back your food. Voila. You didn't have to do anything. You didn't have to think about it, but you had to go into the restaurant and order the food. It's the same thing with entering into the quantum field. You go into the quantum field, you place your order, you tell the universe very clearly, this is what I want, just like you're telling the waiter, this is what I want. You come out, you let it go. Pretty soon, the food shows up. It really is that simple. You don't need to overcomplicate this. However, like I said, you have to go into the restaurant. You have to go into the quantum field. And the only way to enter that is to get into a state of coherence. Coherence does not necessarily, it doesn't always have to mean like super high vibe. You can be in a state of very negative emotion, but be in coherence, which is why you can create all sorts of shitstorms happening in your life, right? Because you're still entering into a state of coherence. Everything is talking. It's just everything is talking towards something that you don't want to experience. And so coherence, all that means is literally every system in the brain and the body is talking to each other. So think of coherence as like a band that has a guitarist, a drummer, and a singer, okay? And let's say they all 3 start playing their own song. That's going to sound like chaotic and erratic and incoherent. That's not going to be good to listen to. The moment the singer, the guitarist, and the band or the drummer start to sing together and they're on tune and they're at the same note, they're in harmony, that's going to sound really beautiful, right? You can almost feel that in your body when I talk about it. It's like a state of resonance. And so that's what coherence looks like. And in order to get into that state, same thing. You have to have the 3 things that are required to enter into the state of coherence. Is you have to have your mind, your body, and your emotions. Those are all parts that make up you. They all create frequencies. Your mind's creating a frequency. Your emotions are creating a frequency. Your body's creating a frequency. And if they're creating different frequencies, it's going to be incoherent. If they're all three of those things, all three of those parts of you are doing their own thing. They're not talking to each other. You're going to be in incoherence. You can feel that when that happens. It's called stress. You can also feel it the minute they all get onto the same note. They all reach harmony. And so that's why you have to have your mind, you have to have your emotions, and you have to have your body in sync, in tune, in coherence. And the moment all three of those are talking to each other and playing the same note, you go into a lower brainwave state and you enter right smack into that quantum field. You can feel it. I can feel it in my body when I'm doing the actual practice. It's like everything lines up perfectly. I can feel it in my system. I know when I'm there. I beautifully enter into the quantum field, I place my order, and then I let it go. That's how easy this process is. What I use in my work and what I teach others, there's 3 ways that you can get all 3 of those parts of your aspects of yourself into coherence. So the first thing we do always is use our biology. It's going to be nearly impossible to try to use your mind first, because the mind just wants to chatter, but you can use your biology to your advantage. And what I mean by that is your breath. Your breath is the quickest way to bring your body into a parasympathetic response. In other words, rest and digest. So it doesn't think that there's a threat out there. It's not like tensed up, right? And restricted. It's relaxed. And so the fastest way to do that is your breath. So when we're talking about body, we're going to use our breath. And that's breathing to a rhythm, meaning you're breathing to a count. So if you're breathing in for 4 seconds, you're breathing out for 8 seconds. Or maybe you're breathing in for 4 seconds and you're breathing out for 6 or 8 seconds. Because every time you extend your exhale, you trigger that parasympathetic response. So we use your breath first. And we go for a period of, 4 to 5 minutes of a constant rhythmic breathing. So there's no pauses in between your inhale and your exhale. You don't have to go that long, but anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes. You're breathing in a rhythm to music, right? To heart coherence music, to music that makes you feel really good. So you're using your breath. That gets your body into a state of coherence. And then, only then, now that the body's relaxed, now the mind can relax a little bit more. It's like, okay, the body's relaxed. I don't need to look through it for a threat. And what we use to get the mind into a state of coherence, talking to the body, is called the open focus method. This was created by Les Fehmy in the 60s. He used biofeedback machines. He did tons of research, and he found that the fastest way to lower your brainwave state, to get into like an alpha, was really what he was studying. But to move into an alpha or theta even, theta is like you're in the dream state, basically. And so to get into alpha or theta, the fastest way, he tried all different methods, used biofeedback machines, and he found the fastest way was to focus on nothing. You can call it space, but really it's nothing. And it's really very simple. All you have to think about is the room that you're sitting in right now, all the air. So none of the objects, but all the air that's in the room. That's space. And so when you consciously put your awareness on the nothingness, on the air that's in the room, your brain automatically goes into a lower brainwave state. And so we spend a few minutes just focusing on the air, on the space, on the nothingness that's all around you. All you're doing, like I said, is focusing on space to lower your brainwave state. After you do that for a few minutes, now your body and your mind are relaxed and they are talking to each other. Amazing. Okay, so now we got to get, thirdly, the emotions lined up. And the technique that we use to get the emotions lined up is heart coherence. Connects us to our heart. Our heart is the space of emotions. And heart coherence was developed by the Heart Math Institute. And it's really very simple. When we're talking about specifically heart coherence, they measure this by measuring the variability in between your heartbeats. In other words, the time in between each heartbeat. I just found this out yesterday. When you're younger, there's actually a massive amount of variability, which means you have a high level of resiliency. But the older you get and the more kind of stuck in your ways you get, the less the variability in between the seconds in between your heartbeats. And so when you get into states of heart coherence, you vary in your heartbeat, literally. So they measure it with an HRV tool, heart rate variability. And it's a very simple process. So in order to get into a state of heart coherence, you've already slowed down your breath, right? You've already used your breath. Your mind's already relaxed. And so after you bring your awareness to your heart, actually consciously bringing your awareness, putting your hand on your heart, bringing your awareness to the heart center, what I have people do is pull up a memory. And the memory is of some beautiful time in their life. Like maybe they were with a pet, or maybe they were with a loved one or their kids, or just some moment where they can remember feeling joy, laughter, love, connection, abundance, like any memory that they can tap into that feeling of that. And the deeper they go into the memory, the more they're going to feel that emotion. And so the Heart Math Institute talks about these in elevated emotions, right? Like I said, joy, abundance, connection, gratitude. And so thinking of that memory that locks in that feeling. Once they've locked in that emotion, that higher elevated emotion, boom, all three systems are talking to each other. We now can move into the quantum field. And once we reach that space, this is exactly where we place the order, okay? So that's coherence. That's the first three things that I talked about. The first three, getting into a state of coherence. Okay, now we're moving to the second three. So the first step, this is the second three is the three-step formula. The first step in that three-step formula is coherence. I just walked you through exactly how to do that. The second step in that is visualization. So once you've reached a state of coherence, you've entered into the quantum field. Now is where you're literally going to place your order to the universe very specifically. So when you go into a restaurant and you order something, think about how specific, well, I am sometimes because I'm extra. So I'm very specific with my order. If there's something I don't want on there, I ask them to leave it off, whatever. That's literally exactly what you're doing in the second step, which is visualization. You've entered into the quantum field. You're in an elevated state. You are going to use the power of visualization. And when I say visualization, I mean getting as clear and specific. What that looks like is, imagine once you entered into the quantum field, you're in a space of the void, like forever blackness all around you. And what you're going to do when you're manifesting something is you have to pick a very specific scene. So I'm going to keep this very simple. I'm going to say a $2 bill, okay? Just for sake of ease. A $2 bill. Okay, I've gone through the process. I got into coherence. I've entered into the quantum field. I can feel myself there. I am in my mind's eye. I am seeing all around absolute blackness, void, nothingness. There's nothing there. And all of a sudden, when I get there, I see a $2 bill in my mind's eye. In the middle of the blackness, I see the $2 bill. And I am visualizing every single corner, every single piece of that $2 bill. I'm smelling it. I'm literally using all my senses. I'm smelling it. I'm tasting it. I'm feeling it. I'm every sense that I can, I am using to visualize that $2 bill as deep as I can. Here's where probably a lot of the manifestation teachers don't tell you. The more you get involved in your visualization, in your senses, the more you experience that thing, the more you're going to fall in love with it. And the higher the elevated emotion that you can experience while you're visualizing this, I promise you the faster it's going to be. But as you're going to see in the next three, when we talk about surrender and attachment, it's going to be a lot easier to let go of attachment to it. So the more that you can visualize getting all senses involved, the more you're going to fall in love with a thing. Like I am a mother having a baby. I am falling in love with this creation of the $2 bill in front of me. I mean, sometimes it sounds so silly, but I'll be moved to tears because I'm just so in love with the creative process and the creation of this $2 bill. I'm so in love with it. And so I'm seeing it, I'm visualizing it, I'm using all my senses. The third step in the process is focus. And why this is so important is because if you cannot maintain focus on that for anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, 5 minutes is a long time to maintain focus, especially for people nowadays. It's a really hard time because of these things and videos that are 10 seconds long that grab your attention. We have lost our ability to hold focus for an extended period of time. But I'm telling you, this is an absolute necessary ingredient and skill set when we're talking about manifestation. You have to be able to focus on that visualization for an extended period of time without getting lost in some thought, because the moment you get lost in some thought like, oh, I got to go do this, boom, you're out of the quantum field that quickly. So as long as you can maintain focus is as long as you can stay in that quantum field and give that order to the waiter. Okay. So maintaining focus. Now, this is a skill set. And if you're not very good at this, You're going to have to practice. You're going to have to actually practice building the skill set of maintaining focus. There's all sorts of ways to do this. I'll do that in another video because that could be a whole nother 20-minute discussion. But you need to hold focus on this. So no other thought, nothing else is intervening with your ability to visualize and hold this object. You're going to do that for about 5 to 10 minutes, just falling in love with it, using all your senses, imagining it. Like I said, it's a $2 bill, right? Okay, then you reach the end. This is all done with music, by the way. Pick a song that like puts you into your heart. All right, the music's over, the visualization process is over. I come back from the quantum field. I open my eyes. Now comes the last 3, which is the hardest part of manifestation, which is letting go, surrendering the outcome, letting go of attachment. Now, why this is so difficult is because people are going to say to me, Em, I'm manifesting it because I want to experience it. And how am I supposed to not want it? And I totally get it. One of the tips that I'm going to talk about at the end is that if you are creating from a state of lack or trying to manifest from a state of lack, it's going to be really hard for that thing to show up for you because you're separate from it. And the universe doesn't give you necessarily what you ask for. It gives you who you're being. And so you have to embody all that love that you felt in that visualization. You have to continue to embody that. And if you're like looking for it and you're like, where is it? I'm separate from it. It's not going to show up. So yes, this is the hardest part. It's like this super thin tightrope between intention, like this is what I want, and completely surrendering the outcome. Now, you don't have to let go of the intention, but you have to let go of how and when and where it's going to show up. You have to be like, you know what? I know when I order my food with a waiter, it's going to show up, but I'm not going back and checking with the cook every 3 minutes. Hey, where's my food? Where's my food? Maybe after like an hour or something, I'm going to be like, hey, it's been a little long. I'm going to go back, maybe say something to my waiter again. Maybe I'll go back into the waiter and say, okay, here's my order again, right? However, you don't normally have to do that. You place the order with your waiter, you let it go to the kitchen, and you wait for it because you know it's going to show up. I'm going to give you a tip for strengthening your belief in that it's going to show up. I'm going to share a tip with you for that. But this is the most important aspect, letting go of attachment. Totally surrendering how, where, and when it's going to show up. It will show up. The less that you can pay attention to how it's going to show up, the faster it's going to show up. Okay, so I created 3 ways to help with this process because it can be really difficult. The first one is distraction. What I mean by distraction is like, go do things that make you feel good. Like go distract away. Like, let's say you're wanting to manifest a trip to Hawaii. Go distract yourself with things that have nothing to do with Hawaii, but make you feel really good. Like maybe when you go hiking in the mountains, you just feel connected. You feel really good. Maybe it's playing with your dog. For me, it's watching movies. Watching movies is a great distraction for me. They make me feel really good. I love movies, always have. So that's a great distraction. But find something that sort of makes you not think, unless if you can think about the thing you're manifesting and not feel like separate from it and not feel like, oh my God, if you can think about it and feel really good about it, that's fine. Think about it. As long as you're feeling really good about it and you're like, I know it's going to show up and I can't wait for it to show up. That's great. But if you can't, if you think about it and you're like, ooh, I don't know if it's going to show up, go distract yourself. That's the first one. The second one is trying to stay in elevated emotions throughout the day. Now, sometimes this means if you're in a crappy mood, you just let go of resistance to that crappy mood. It's going to move a lot quicker. If you're just like pissed off and you try to fight that pissed off because you're like, shit, I need to be in elevated emotions, that pissed off isn't going to go away because what you resist persists. And so the fastest way, if you are not in an elevated emotion, to move into an elevated emotion is to let go of resistance. Like, great, I'm angry right now. I'm just going to be fucking angry. Like I did it a couple weeks ago. I played some angry music. I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to let myself, not at anyone, obviously. I'm just going to let myself feel the emotion of anger. And so that's the fastest way if you aren't in an elevated emotion to move into one is to just let go of any resistance that you have. Obviously, you have to let go of any story you're holding on to as to why you're feeling crappy or angry or pissed off. You can't hold on to the story. But if you let go of resistance to the actual emotion you're feeling, you're going to move through it a lot quicker. But there's also very easy ways to do this. One way my husband used to always tell people is have a playlist of 5 songs. And those 5 songs are like your go-to 5 songs. And you're like, when I play these, I feel so freaking good and I'm instantly happy. So have a playlist of 5 songs. Another way to so easily access elevated emotions, laughter. Laughter is like the fastest way to enter into elevated emotions and into feeling really good, in other words. So find something really funny, like have a video on your phone that is your go-to. I have one that like no matter what's happening, it will make you laugh. That's another really easy way. And then the third way, really simple, is being grateful, which I actually was going to give you as a bonus, the fourth one. But that's a great way to enter into an elevated state is just to feel grateful for something. Staying in elevated emotions. That's number 2. Number 3 ties back to the actual visualization process that you did when you were placing the order and you were visualizing whatever it is you want to create. The more that you can get your senses involved in that visualization, like the more you are actually experiencing the thing, the more connected to it you are, the less you're going to be looking for it because you already experienced it. I can't tell you how many times I've consciously walked myself through the process I just walked you through. And I swear to God, I didn't care if it showed up because I was like, I already experienced it. So when it showed up, it was kind of like, cool. Like I already experienced it. So that is one of the fastest ways to make it show up really quickly is getting really, really involved in the visualization process. So much so that you actually literally feel like you already experienced it. Like you got so involved in all your senses. You fell so much in love with it. You were like, I already experienced it. Like, I don't need it. I don't need it to show up. And you aren't looking for it. You are not separate from it. You already experienced it. And I am telling you, holy shit, watch out. Sometimes it's scary how quickly it shows up. The fourth thing I was going to say as a bonus is what I call a gratitude rant. And what that means is it's not like go write 5 things you're grateful for, because if you're just writing it from the intellect, it won't matter. You have to feel that gratitude. And so gratitude rant is set your timer for 1 minute and start with one thing that you actually feel in your body really grateful for. So that could just be, oh my God, I had the best meal last night. And you feel that gratefulness for like, oh my God, I'm so grateful for that. And let that build until you think of the next thing. Like the next thing is maybe like my husband. Oh my God, and each one builds on top of the other. And it's just a minute straight of that. It's like a rant of gratitude. It's the best kind of rant you could ever have. The key is you have to feel it. So you can't just say the thing. You have to actually feel the thing. Pick something that when you say it, you can actually feel it in your system. And even if that means having legs, because having legs allows you to do all sorts of things. And if you didn't have legs, there's a lot of things you wouldn't be able to do. And you'd be pretty upset about that. And so literally just think about your legs or your eyes or any of your senses. Like what would life be without that? And so gratitude rant is also sort of the fourth bonus way to let go of surrender and attachment. And that's literally it. Like that's the very practical 3-3-3 method to manifesting anything. I mean, this literally works for anything, but I want to leave you with some really important tips to remember as you go into this. Number 1, start small. And what I mean by this is it's like building a muscle, and you have to build your belief muscle. You have to build the belief that you actually can manifest something. So I always tell people, start with something really small and insignificant, like a $2 bill or a peacock feather, or don't pick something that you see every day, but pick something that's like odd enough that when you see it, you're going to know, but you don't have any attachment to it. Like I don't know, a purple flower, anything like that. Pick something really small. Go through this process, follow each ingredient very specifically, and watch how quickly it will show up for you. You start with these little things because I guarantee when that thing shows up, you're going to be like, holy shit, I created that. I actually created that. Like I actually see in my real life experience what my mind and the power of the creator in me can create. Like it can actually create a tangible thing in real life. And I'm telling you, like, that is a feeling that you can build off of when you go into your next visualization. Like you can tap into that feeling. It's very, very powerful. And so start with something small so you can build your belief that you have the power to manifest. Number 2, really important, because you are placing an order with the universe, because you're saying, this is what I want, you have to be specific, because you can't get super involved with your senses and falling in love with it if you aren't specific in your scene. So instead of going broad, like I want a lot of money, that's way too broad. How are you going to visualize that? And so pick something very specific. So I want a lot of money, a trip to Hawaii, right? A trip to Hawaii would mean you probably have enough money to afford that. So in your visualization process, you're going to imagine a day that you're sitting on the beach with your kids. Maybe they're out snorkeling, or maybe you're snorkeling, or maybe you're with your husband on this beautiful vacation to Hawaii. But you're going to pick one scene from that. And that's the visualization you're going to use. So it's, instead of going broad, you can think of the broad thing like, I want better health, or I want love in my life. Like, what would be, if you say I want love in my life, maybe it's like a scene where you and your partner are having breakfast together and your heart is just like exploding because you're drinking your coffee and you're looking over at him thinking, oh my God, like, how did I create him? So pick something very specific so that when you're in the visualization, you can get all your senses involved and you can fall in love. Tapping into the heart is so powerful because the heart is the receiver. Like, the heart is what's going to pull this thing to you. You have to have your heart open to receive. And so the more that you can open your heart in that visualization and then let it go and continue in that elevated state and be like, oh my God, I just experienced it. It was amazing. Your heart's wide open. Holy moly, it will magnetize to you so very quickly. And so, like I said, start small, get specific. And then the last thing is, it was the fourth bonus, which is like, use the gratitude rants. Like, use that often, because gratitude is going to put you into your heart. When you think about it, when you feel really grateful for something, your heart is like, you can physically feel it in your heart. And like I said, the heart is a magnet. The heart is the place of receiving. And so the more that you can use that gratitude rant to open up your heart throughout the day, the faster the thing's going to come. So that's it. Like, go play, go be the creator. This has to be a playful and fun process. You cannot do this like super serious or like needing or wanting. It's not going to work. The more open, the more playful you are, the more you believe in your ability to create, the faster these things are going to happen. You can't do this from a state of lack. You have to be in a state of, I am creating because I'm so grateful for where I'm at, and I'm a natural creator. I believe we came here to create. And so when we are tapping into this, we're tapping into who we really are, which is powerful beings painting beautiful pictures, creating beautiful plays. And so have fun with it, knowing like, oh my God, I'm the director. I get to create what I want to experience. So go into it from that state of being, not from the state of being of like frustration, lack, it won't work. Just don't do it. Okay. So when you get into a space, you're like, God, I just love to create. That's a perfect time to follow this process. If you want to dive deeper into this, I created a mini course, an online mini course for you. It walks you through, it breaks down each of these even more. It gives you more tips and tricks, and it includes my signature meditation. The first part walks you through coherence. So I walk you through the entire thing. The second part gets you into the quantum. You do the visualization. I walk you through that. And then after that, you get to just listen to some really good music for a bit and just sort of lay there in the midst of your creation. It's a really beautiful meditation. In fact, almost every single person that has done it is like, Em, that is one of my favorite of yours. It's called the Magician Within. It's like my signature manifestation meditation. And that is included in the course. So if you want to, it's only $22. You can access it in the description below. There'll be a link to purchase, and you can dive right in and have the time of your life and start becoming literally the manifestation magician that you actually are. So there you go. M for manifestation. We have one more pillar in the Freedoms Framework. I've been loving going through this framework with you guys. If you've been loving the framework, just make sure that you subscribe and you hit the red bell. That way you're notified. Man, these are tongue twisters. That way you're notified of when a new video comes up so you don't miss any of the videos in the Freedoms Framework. I love you all. I will see you in the next episode.